Hi guys, my name is Gabrielle Boltinghouse and I'm doing my policy podcast on House Bill 2. So House Bill 2 originated in the NC Senate and is still active in the legislative process due to the fact that they are still trying to make amendments on it that will please society and this changing culture, because it has been proposed that there are social justice and human rights issues within this bill. So what is HB2? It's a bill that promotes rights for those who identify from their biological sex and takes away rights from those who do not. So basically individuals who are LGBT. Under this bill, there are rights taken away from individuals that identify as anything other than their biological sex, and they are not allowed to enter into any single or multiple occupancy bathroom or changing facility that is identified as anything other than their biological sex. There is also controversy on the concerns of rights of employees' wages and minors and hours of labor being protected due to the fact that they only are concerned with big businesses and business industry and not really the individual rights. So the legislation has to see if they're going to keep rights between peace between employees and businesses, which includes LGBT individuals. So it's under this law that also individual rights on account are protected against discrimination on race, religion, color, age, biological sex, but LGBT individuals are not protected under this part of the bill because they identify as things other than their biological sex. This bill will not be in effect until it is made into a law, which has happened a few times, but it is constantly changing because of the voting and amending of the bill until it is effective and fits well with the state. For costs and benefits, the HB2 bill could potentially leave North Carolina a lot of debt, like as much as $5 billion a year, because of the discrimination it promotes and the conflict it has with laws of the federal government and other states and large companies. And it could lead to loss of funding in these areas. There are more than 400 organizations that provide funding for HB2. Art Pope being one of the main providers, and he also invests funding into anti-LGBT rights groups. Many human rights groups and activists criticize this bill because it promotes segregation and discrimination and affects LGBT individuals as well as other individuals. And many of the main supporters of the groups have shown to have their deeply held spiritual beliefs line up with this bill, and those have a really big influence on the bill in the state of North Carolina because it's heavily influenced by religion. As a social worker, I am definitely against HB2 because I believe it violates the NASW Code of Ethics. It promotes social inequality and has social injustice, and it violates the dignity and worth of a person, as well as the Civil Rights Act, which are all things covered under the Code of Ethics. And as a social worker, it's my job to pursue all social change on behalf of those who are vulnerable, oppressed, and face discrimination, as well as to seek and resolve conflict between clients' interests and society's interests, which I believe HB2 has brought out issues of discrimination for LGBT individuals, which would be a conflict of clients' interests and society's interests. And also there's the whole aspect of it violating civil rights, which civil rights is to protect individuals from discrimination, and HB2 violates that. So as a social worker, it's my job to take a stand for individuals who are oppressed and face these things and to make a difference. So I will be in close watch of the process of HB2 and how it's going to change in the state of North Carolina. And I'm going to try and educate and inform others on this bill so that we can make a social change. Thanks, guys, for listening.